Summary of George Orwell's novel 1984. It all started in London in 1984, as you might have guessed. After a long war, Great Britain became part of Oceania. It is one of the three superpowers that shared power over the world. Between them, there are battles, then the conclusion of alliances. The country is ruled by a party headed by a single leader, one might say leader and older brother. Posters with his portrait and the inscription, "Elder Brother is watching you," hang everywhere. To be honest, before reading this book, I had no idea where this famous phrase came from. And you? Residents know very well that their whole lives are on display in the party. Special monitors broadcasting party slogans are installed in every home and office. With the help of these devices, the thought police records all the words and actions of people. Espionage is welcomed in society. Even children are trained to report on their parents. Power rests on four whales ministries. The Ministry of Truth distorts reality. The Ministry of Peace directs military operations. The Ministry of Wealth supports the low standard of living of the population. And in the Ministry of Love, dissenters are subjected to torture. Most of the Oceanians, or whatever the population of Oceania should be called, are proletarians, or, as they are called, proles. They are considered a lower caste. They lead a primitive way of life. They drink beer, quarrel, watch TV, gamble. They are not a particularly intellectual, and therefore safe mask for the authorities. Most of the state bans do not apply to prowlers, and there are no surveillance monitors in their homes. This was also influenced by the massive destruction of books, especially for safe animals, which is what the authorities call the prole caste. At 39, Winston Smith is an ordinary employee of the Ministry of Truth. He rewrites old documents to match the current party line. Disreputable persons are erased from history, facts are distorted, and the failures of the older brother are hushed up, and the so-called exploits go deeper and deeper into history with each census. Smith has long been disappointed in what is happening, but he cannot admit it to anyone. To somehow distract himself, he keeps a diary, although this is strictly prohibited and punishable by death. Winston suspects that O'Brien, a high-ranking official of the ministry, a charismatic man with a little weight belly, is an underground revolutionary and an opponent of the party. Confess to him his secret thoughts and start a resistance movement, that's all he dreams of. At work, Winston notices that a colleague, whose name is Julia, is looking at him, a pretty girl with lush, dark hair. She wears the red sash of the Youth Anti-Sex Union around her waist and is considered an exemplary member of the party. Smith is afraid that she will betray him. One day he meets Julia in the quarter of the proles, where employees of the Ministry of Truth are not allowed to go. He is sure that the girl wants to write a report on him. But the next day, the girl gives him a note with the words, "I love you." In fact, Julia hated the party and more than once violated the ban by entering into an intimate relationship. Winston admires her courage and free thinking. They begin to meet secretly in the quarter of the proles. For their dates, they rent a room from the owner of an antique shop. Members of the party are forbidden to enter into a love relationship, but Smith and Julia constantly have to take risks. They decide to trust O'Brien. He accepts them into the Brotherhood of Resistance and gives them the forbidden book. Soon, the men in black, the thought police, burst into Winston and Julia's room. An old antiquarian, who turned out to be his secret agent, takes part in the arrest. Lovers are separated and brought to the Ministry of Love separately. There, the driver is interrogated with elements of torture. The abuse becomes more and more terrible and cruel. A couple of prisoners are forced to give up their views and beliefs. The main executioner turns out to be O'Brien, who's skillfully masked. At first, Smith tries to resist, but little by little his strength leaves him and the man begins to renounce his revolutionary ideas. O'Brien convinces him that the party is eternal and there is no point in fighting the system. Its goal is power. To do this, it eradicates the ability to think and subjugates people. Winston does not want to give up his beloved to the last, but he cannot endure the most severe torture. He is most afraid of rats in the world. He is placed in a cell where there is an open cage with hungry rodents. Unable to bear his phobia and terror, Smith betrays Julia. This saves him. The rats do not have time to do damage. Finding himself free, Smith begins to lead a completely different way of life. He gained weight, watches the news, rejoices in military victories, and considers memories of the past to be false. One day he sees Julia by chance. She has changed just like him. Winston has no feelings for her anymore. Now he is loyal to the party and truly loves older brother.